with the in crowd, and I go where the in crowd goes. I'm in with the in crowd, and I know what the in crowd knows. So sang Dobie Gray in 1965. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 4, Torah portion Vayikra. The song In Crowd, going along with the crowd, the fad, the latest trends, being stylish, being included with the group, following along what everyone else is doing. So it is with the flock mentality. We're talking about the zon, T-Z-O-N, would be a transliteration from the Hebrew word that references sheep and goats. Basically, we're talking then about laying down on the altar of sacrifice our desire to be accepted by the world that is around us. The herd mentality of the flock, it is seeking then to not stand out, but rather to be included. Dare I say, to be popular. Every teenager wants to be popular, part of the in crowd in school. I know I did. Tried my best to fit in and to stand out as a part of the elite group. Didn't always work too well. But we tried. No one wants to be rejected. No one wants to be left out. No one wants to be the last one picked for the team. And so we follow along with what the world says is acceptable. We dress, we listen to the music of the current times. We drive the later model automobiles. We want to stay up on technology. No one wants to be thought of as old school. Well, at least some of us can appreciate the old school. But we want to be included, acknowledged. However, the Torah says that you and I are not to follow a crowd to do evil. Okay, so I'm not out looking for a sinful crowd any longer to run with. But in our current trend of things, there are several groups that are rising up in society. There are those that are angry about one side or the other of political issues. Some are angry enough that they're camping out in cities and towns across the U.S. And they think it's the wisest thing to do to tear down, to burn, to destroy, to spray paint graffiti over everything, to threaten, to accuse, to slander, to malign, etc. How many are just going along because that's the trendy thing to do? They really don't have an acceptance of the cause, but they don't want to be left out by those who are. On the other side, there are those that are looking for a different side of the agenda of things, and they are, again, maligning, accusing, slandering, pointing fingers, voicing great discontent at those that they disagree with, looking to promote their cause. How many folks are going along just because of nationalism or uber patriotism? They get caught up in the wave of things. It's easy to do. What Yah is looking for is a people who stand out to Him, that are focused and dedicated to Him. And so we approach the altar of sacrifice and we bring our zon. That is that part of us that we identify that says, I have to be accepted. I have to be acknowledged. Somebody needs to look at me and say, hey, how many pages on Facebook are just calls for attention? Another photo, another selfie pic, another here's what I did and what I had for supper pic. Pay attention to me. I'm here. I want to be acknowledged. We lay that over on the altar because the herd mentality is not always the right mentality. The patriarchs were willing to go against the grain of the day. Instead of living in cities and towns, they chose to be nomads and live with their flocks and their herds. Why? Because Yah says you need to walk through the land, and where you walk, you will possess. They didn't really have title deeds, with a few exceptions. They taught and trained their families to do likewise. They lived among people that did not accept them, but they stayed true to their identity, to who Yah had called them to be. They chose to walk in direction differently than that of acceptance, actually contrary to acceptance, and then had a thankful heart that they had a chance and an opportunity to do so. And so we come then to the offering of ourselves on the altar that says, I'm willing to go against the grain. I'm willing to be different. I'm willing to be unique. No one else in Walmart has got these tassels hanging off of their belts. No one else seems to be buying the food selections that I'm buying. I can walk right on past some things that are on sale. It's a good buy for those who want such things, but it's not for me. We have a mentality that says, instead of going with the crowd that is popular, edgy, up-to-date, stylish, I'm going to walk according to the mentality of what Scripture is calling for, the community of the bride, the called out assembly of the set apart ones, the chachal. As we talked about a few days ago, the idot, that is those who are the community who bear the witness of Messiah, Yeshua. Let's face it, the dragon will not be enraged with those who play along and comply and do whatever is asked of them. The dragon will be enraged against those who stand differently. I started to say obstinately, but it's not mere obstinance. It's not a contrary heart. It's a compliant heart to the will of the Father. And so we're looking then to build the community. My will and desire to be accepted by the masses is transformed then by laying it on the altar. And I am enabled then to draw near through Messiah, as he came not to be in the world or of the world, but to reveal the kingdom of heaven to the world. Yeshua has asked you and I, he says, you're in this world, but you're not of it. And everything in this current world is going to pass away, but the kingdom of heaven does not pass away. It's forever enduring. So as we lay ourselves on this altar, we are looking then to become a part of the vital community that is set apart to the Most High, reconciling those who are yet not a part of that to ourselves, and then looking to build relationships with those who are in this community that are different than ourselves. Yeshua is not calling for uniformity. He's calling for unity. And that is that you and I can look at one who disagrees with us, who practices differently than us, who chooses differently than us within the boundaries of the Torah as its application. And it's not that anything goes and that we're super tolerant, but that we strive to be understanding and that we strive to build relationships. We will begin, as iron sharpens iron, to bring a little friction that is capable of sanding us both down and refining both of us. If I'm not willing to listen to someone, how can I expect anyone to be willing to listen to me? And so our brother Yehuda will look at us and think us strange, and we look at them and we think you're unnecessary in all your applications, and we have these differences. But we're looking for the reconciliation and the restoration of all Israel based on mutual respect, learning to love each other, learning to get along, learning to hear and understand the other viewpoint so that we can walk together. If we're going to be in this flock, and we want to move in the same direction as our shepherd, then we need to learn to put ourselves on the altar. and learn to move in the same direction. We'll conclude these thoughts tomorrow. Until then, shalom.